So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in...
Supporting.
I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man.
They be getting ate up, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. I know the video just started, but this is crazy, bro. Shout out to the Officer Tater for providing the original link to this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel if y'all probably already have it. Y'all probably already watched this stuff. But anyways, I'm LFR Jojo. Let's get right into this.
For everybody that was on the stage, you know, I normally talk crazy about Krispy Kremes and I say things like that, but I have to give them props, man. Everybody on the stage held it down, and I felt as if they were at least okay. Right? I don't think anybody on the stage would repulse me as much as a Democrat. So I think that they all, in my opinion, I would vote for them over Joe Biden any day of the week. But there were some amazing emerging stars in this particular debate. And
if y'all don't know, this is probably the first election that I'm like really actually involved in, because you got to think the first time I was eligible to vote was 2020, and in 2020 I was literally 17. Turning 18. Like, let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck. What 18-year-old do you know is like actively like really into that? Bro, I had other things in my mind. I was not, bro. I had other things in my mind. I was trying to apply to colleges. I was not thinking about no election. I'm not even gonna cap. So this is probably the first election that I'm really, you know, really actually like here for, like present. So yeah, it's exciting.
My ratings here in a minute, but I thought it was a very competitive. I thought that people weren't afraid to talk over others. People in the debate were not afraid of pointing out their issues and calling out the other for the lack thereof. And I think that the moderators did a really good job at kind of carrying the debate, making sure they stand their ground and allowing people to speak and not just have people arguing over each other the entire time. So I'm gonna give you my top finishers, the top four, I would say. Number one is Vivek Ramaswamy. I thought he did an incredible job. He was clean, he was smooth, he was articulate, he was bold, he was forward thinking, and he didn't fall into the trap of trying to bash Donald Trump. He stood firm on that end, and he stood firm on what he would do for this country. And I felt like he emerged as
Climate change policies. This isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as...
Hey, y'all, I have a question, and this is probably dumb. Y'all probably already know. Is the people in this debate the only people running for president, or is this supposed to be like a Republican debate? Is there like a Democratic debate? Let me know like all the details, because this, I don't know, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm assuming it's a Republican debate, but yeah. Yo, it says Republican debate. It says Republican debate right there, y'all. Hey, it's been a long day.
President will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine.
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America.
So to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent...
Shut down the whole department? But then again, he did also say take that $80 billion and put it into the hands of the people. What would that be? Let me do the math. If he gave $80 billion to what? How many people live in America? 500 million? I don't even know. I don't think calculators could... 500 million. I'm just going to divide it by 500 million. I don't... Would that even make a difference? I don't know, bro. But if he gave up $80 billion into like people's hands, that's kind of lit. I'm not gonna hold you.
is where they send their kids to school, end the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete, and then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
Second would be Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis secured.
That was good, man. I would say, though, I think Vivek, the only thing that's probably going to hurt him is that he's too big brain for this. Like, the stuff he said is a little too smart. And what do I mean by that? Like, making 18-year-olds take a standardized test to be able to be eligible to vote. For somebody like me, I'd be like, okay, it's a test. But something like that will anger a lot of people. Like, they be like, we actually got to learn this stuff. Like, that's a little too... I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Self, in the top 3 position, because Ron DeSantis had a lot of accomplishments that he was able to tout, and those accomplishments are not falling on deaf ears for the American people. I think Ron DeSantis has an incredible resume as a politician, probably the best resume out of all the politicians in the race outside of Donald Trump. So I think he did a really good job of being smooth on his points, standing up and being a leader. When he had to get confrontational, he was.
It's not a territorial dispute
President
either.
of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national emergency. I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. This election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th of 2025, when the next president is going to take office. I know what the Democrats would like to do. They want to talk about all these other issues, but we've got to focus on your future. One of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this.
I think the third place goes to, and I don't really like to say this because I don't really like Nikki Haley that much as a politician, but Nikki Haley, she emerged as probably in the third place position, or maybe third or fourth. I don't know if she did a better job than Mike Pence or Tim Scott, but I will say if I had to choose somebody for that third place position, it probably would be Nikki Haley. I thought that Mike Pence did an okay job. I thought he was okay. I still think he is positioned as a rhino, and he was legitimately neutered by Donald Trump. And I think it's hard to overcome that. I didn't like the fact that Nikki Haley tried to play the woman card a few times.
Hold on. Hey, Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you bought and paid for?
What I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. I'm assuming that was like an attempt at like being funny though. Like, I don't think she, when you say something like that, I don't think she was being like literal. I don't. But only positive because a woman president, it would be pretty cool, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll vote for someone just because they're women. I just think it would be pretty cool, bro. We'd be the first country to have a woman president and a black president. That's cool, man. All in the same century. That's tough. No cap.
But overall, I think her approach was smooth. She at least had an argument. She at least was very confident about her argument. And so that's why I give her the number 3 position, kind of teetering between number 3 and 4. I think Tim Scott did okay. I think he was average. He said the things I expected him to say.
You commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men. We should be asking ourselves a bigger question about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do is fire Merrick Garland. Second thing I'll do, fire.
If I'm married, girl, I'll be a little stressed if I heard something like that. I'd be like, what did I do? What are you trying to fire me for?
For Ray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice.
He didn't say anything that I think was overtly controversial, or he didn't say anything that put him above everybody else. I think he was just status quo. The rest of the people, Chris Christie and all of them, I mean, they really have no chance. I thought they added some value in the conversation, but they have no chance to become the president of the United States of America. But let me get to a couple points that I want to make about their arguments. I was very disappointed that everybody on the stage, Vivek didn't have a chance to give him side of it when it came to the abortion argument.
We need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man.
I think it's very clear that the country should at least be able to meet in the middle on heartbeat. They wanted to meet in the middle on 15 weeks. You know dang well you're pregnant with a baby at 15 weeks.
15 weeks? Dang, that's almost 4 months. Yeah, bro, I'm not even gonna cap. Because you were pregnant for 9 months. That means that your baby starts, like, so... And it don't even start counting until after the period. So yeah, that's a long time. 15 weeks. I don't know all the details about it. So don't look at LFR Jojo. Well, LFR Jojo said that. Like, bro, I don't know all the details. So don't even try to quote me. But yeah, that is kind of long, bro. I'm gonna have to look into it though.
Then how big? I mean, 15 weeks, give or take, if you do the math, that's about 4 months. You know how far along you are at around 4 months pregnant.
Yeah, that's like halfway through.
You only got 9 of them. And so I think that if we want to make a concession or a compromise, we should do it at the heartbeat. How do you know when a human being is alive, the heart started beating? How do you know when a human being is deceased, the heart stopped beating? At minimum, we should be able to come together on the heartbeat bill, or the 6 week, I think it was about 6 weeks, where the heartbeat is detected. Now, I'm the type of person that says life starts at conception, not perception. But I believe as a nation, we should be able to come together on a heartbeat bill. Because if you start saying 15 weeks, what's the difference between 15 and 16? Or is that's when the baby can feel pain? I mean, what's the difference between 16 and 17? Before you know it, they're at 30 some weeks, and that's no different than 15 weeks. I think we have to have a set period that makes sense. And if they want to meet in the middle, give a person the time to know they're pregnant. Listen, you don't walk down the street, slip on a banana peel, and get pregnant. So if you were bumping and grinding, pumping and sweating the night before, you should at some point be curious as to whether or not I'm pregnant because of what I did last night.
Hey, fool, this stuff is low-key common sense. Like, I'm just shocked that this is like a real, like, debate. Like, yeah, like, you should know. 15 weeks, that is insane. That is crazy. Like, you just like, oops, it's been 4 months. Like, come on, let's be real. Come on. But anyways, shout out to Officer Tatum. He wants to see the rest of his video, go to his channel. It's LFR Jojo, and I will see you all.